I can sing it. Was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting here and there, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today, Dundalk TV is with Kathy,
Mealy.
and we are at Pat Mcdonough's rally. What did you like about Pat today, and what did you like about the things he's done in the past?
I have been an avid fan and follower of Pat's for over 25 years. I know he's been in the legislature for quite a long time. He has always been a very helpful, supportive people person, and he speaks the voice of the people. He gets down to the grassroots of what people really do want to hear and what people really do want in life, which is very important.
So, have you had any kind of problems in the past that you've brought to Pat, or have you had any friends that maybe had something going on, or do you know anybody that had an issue that they needed help with that Pat helped them?
I have known of some people who have gone to Pat Mcdonough in the past, and they have always said that they had a very good, responsive action done from him and the people in his office.
So, and when you talk to people in the community, how do they feel about Pat Mcdonough?
People love him. People really do love Pat. They like to hear what he has to say because they know that he does follow through on what he says.
Well, it's been a pleasure to meet you today, and thank you very much for doing the interview.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Today, Dundalk TV is with Jimmy Mathis at the Pat Mcdonough rally. You had Pat on this morning doing interview. How'd that go?
It went well. Learned about the event earlier. Just wanted to come out here what he had to say about it. Section 8 housing is something that a lot of people that live in the county care very much about, and unfortunately hasn't really gotten the coverage that it deserves recently.
One thing that I really like about Pat is he doesn't wait for people to come to him. He actually grabs a hold of an issue and brings it to the people.
Yeah, look, I was talking to Pat about this on the air earlier. This is, there's many spokes that come out of this wheel. One of them is obviously an assault on basic property rights, and something that a lot of homeowners are very concerned about. It's multi-level. You have legislation that's happening at the state level, also in D.C. at the federal level, and it's good that people are coming out and just getting educated on it.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you today, and thank you for doing the interview.
Would you please welcome our friend, Mr. Pat Mcdonough.
Can you hear me okay? Everybody can hear all right?
Yeah.
Ken, you can hear me okay? Well, all right, hey, thanks so much for being here. I want to just share some thoughts with you today. First of all, I want to introduce some people. Jimmy Mathis, my good friend from WBAL Radio, right there. Our neighbors from Dundalk, which is an area we're going to carry like a rocket ship. Dutch Ruppersberger voted for the congressional pay raise last week. What do you think about that?
Ooh.
It never ends. I thought it would have scared him enough by now to know better, but no. And then he came out and said, the problem in Orlando is gun control. Not enough gun control. You know, I wonder what they're going to say if, God forbid, a dirty atomic bomb goes off in downtown Washington. Are they going to call for more gun control, you think? That's how nonsensical this situation is. The problem is in Washington. From the president who draws a line in the sand and leads from behind and does nothing, allows the Middle East to completely deteriorate, the Muslim Brotherhood to take over Egypt, Libya to go down the toilet, ISIS to grow. I mean, he's the father of ISIS. Believe me, Barack Obama is the father of ISIS, and Dutch Ruppersberger, I sent out a memo to all the news people this week. They asked Dutch Rupersberger for his opinion on Orlando. This is the guy that sat in Congress for 8 years on the Intelligence Committee, and during that period of time, we had San Bernardino, Fort Hood, Boston bombers, Libya, ISIS. He's the guy that said the Muslim Brotherhood is modernized, we can negotiate with them. He's the guy that supports the Iranian deal. That is like going to an arsonist and asking him how to put out fires. I mean, they are interviewing the wrong person. And of course, I can't complain because in each interview he said, we need gun control. So common sense people out there, they are going to understand what he is all about. And he's for all kinds of great things. Of course, we know the transgender bathrooms. He came out, I got him to come out and tell us his position. That's his position. I will tell you, I'm against this because this is not an issue related to civil rights. This is an issue related to privacy. One of the great threats to the American people in this century is their privacy. NSA, the computers, the internet. How much, if you lose your privacy, you lose your freedom. So I don't even like to go into a men's room with men, to be honest with you. But, you know, I'll tell you who I fight for the civil rights. I fight for the civil rights of women, young women, and girls, and the American people who have the right to privacy when they go to a restaurant. That's the civil rights I fight for. And he and Elijah Cummings, a name that should not be uttered in these hallowed halls, and Sarbanes were able to dig up $25 million in Washington to fight the war on heroin. Let me tell you something about the war on heroin. Do you know where 100% of the heroin comes from in this country? It comes from the drug cartels in Mexico, and it comes across that border. Any politician in this country, from the president on down, that says, I do not want to build a wall, and I do not want to strengthen that border, is a hypocrite. You cannot fight heroin. You cannot say, I'm fighting the war on heroin, and be against that wall. You are a hypocrite if you do that. Because that is the heroin highway. The heroin that comes in the Middle River and Essex and Falston and Anne Arundel County, it all comes across that border. If you say you are not for building that wall and you are not in favor of strengthening that wall, you are aiding and abetting heroin dealers. And I will say that publicly. And we will be putting out a news conference the week after next week, a serious news conference with radio advertising saying that, because the Sun papers' heads will spin. They will say, how did Mcdonough link heroin to the wall? Right? God, we can't criticize him too strongly. He makes common sense. My God, we were going to call him a racist because he doesn't like illegal immigrants. But now he's fighting heroin. Makes sense. So you got to be creative in politics. We're opening up our first headquarters next week. Beautiful headquarters down at Carroll, what is that called? Carroll Island Road, where the Walmart is, the shopping center. We're going to be right in the Walmart where there's a lot of foot traffic. No, we're not going to be in the Walmart. But we are going to be in that shopping center, a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous headquarters, and that thing is going to be a beehive of activity. We're doing well on volunteers. We have volunteers every day, everywhere. We are raising money. The money is looking good. We're going to try to reach 100,000 by the end of this month. The people over in Washington get real serious when you raise 100,000. We're going to go way beyond that. We were over in Baltimore County. Here's number one. We want a total moratorium. No more Section 8 housing. None. Number two, we want full disclosure. We want to know Who is making money off this Section 8 stuff? I'm hearing a lot of stuff, and I've seen papers, and I've seen information. We have landlords. Thank you, dear. What's your name? Stop. And we know Valerie does a good job, don't you? I'm a drill instructor, United States Marine Corps. We want full disclosure. One company, a nonprofit, we don't know who's on the board of directors. We don't know how they got the contract. These are the guys that are buying the houses in Kingsville. $46 million. Taxpayer, that's serious money. $46 million. Who are they? Was there a bid? So we want full disclosure. We want to know what's happening. We want to know what's happening. And then finally, we want some respect. Private homeowners, it's challenging the quality of their life. It's challenging the value of their property. It's challenging the value of their neighborhood. It's challenging the cost of their taxes. Poverty in Baltimore County has increased by 40%. 40% in 10 years. That's a lot. And it's all coming out of Section 8. It's all coming out of Section 8. Dutch Rupersberger started Section 8 in Baltimore County. When he was the county executive, he welcomed it with open arms. The lawsuit that we just lost, the Section 8 lawsuit, which allows them to bring more into the county, Rupersberger failed to oppose that lawsuit when it was litigated, when he was county executive. He did nothing. That's why it passed. If I was the county executive, I would have fought that tooth and nail and raised money, did everything I could to get the right lawyers and destroy that lawsuit. He did nothing. And now in Congress, he has voted for 4 initiatives related to growing Section 8 housing coming out of the Obama administration. He supported all 4 of them. So Section 8 is a big issue for Congress or local. And we mentioned this because we told people that this is a big issue. So finally, let me do this. If you all have any questions, I'd like to try and answer them, okay? Gentleman in the back.
Yeah, hi sir, I have a question. Can you tell me, Delegate, what's the general feelings of Congress on this Section 8? I've been told that they can't do anything about it because it's something that the Supreme Court passed and it's a done deal. Can you elaborate on my question?
Yeah, the Supreme Court has not ruled on Section 8 housing. Appellate courts have. There's nothing wrong with Section 8 housing, don't get me wrong. We have the Fair Housing Act in America. You're all familiar with the Fair Housing Act. You can live wherever you want. What color you are doesn't matter. You can move into Trump Towers if you can afford it. So we have the Fair Housing Act. That already exists. The question on Section 8 is, how is it managed? Who is eligible to receive it? How long can they receive it? And if it's creating a problem, will there be a response to protecting neighborhoods? That's the issue. Section 8 housing is a result of failure by big city politicians in Detroit and Baltimore for failing to build proper public housing, number one, which we can build, like I said, with the 30,000 vacant houses. And number two, why do they want to go to Kingsville? They want to go to Kingsville. There are no jobs in Kingsville. There is no transportation in Kingsville, but there's an elementary school. They want to go to Kingsville Elementary School because it does well. Well, why can't the politicians of Baltimore City make sure that Guilford Elementary School does well? That's the solution. Have a question? Come on, give me a question. Leah. Well, there is a candidates forum in Howard County, I think next month. C4 wants to do a debate. I'm willing, I'm available. I like to debate, talk about things. So we'll see what happens. He has debated in the past, or wanted to debate. So in the fall, we'll do. If he does that, it'd be real nice because we'll use that as an issue to flush him out, you know. Anything else? Because I got one for myself. Okay.
Which houses are? Section 8 in their neighborhood?
Yeah. Oh, there's Section 8 in my neighborhood, sure. They're everywhere. Section 8 is
Is there
everywhere.
a way to find out?
No, that's the problem. That's the problem. Lady wants to know, is there a way to find out about Section 8 housing if you have it in your community? You cannot. I want disclosure. That's by having a website where you can go to that website, you can find out where child abusers are. I'm not saying this is like child abuse, this is neighborhood abuse. But you should know where they are, and we should also know where they are planned to be put. Now, the county executive has a $10 million slush fund. He has a slush fund that he could use for recreation, for seniors. He takes that slush fund. You want to come and develop 20 houses? He tells you, I will give you $2 million if 3 or 4 of them are Section 8. He uses that county taxpayer slush fund to promote Section 8 housing.